Hello everyone, this is Giacomo Pasquali with STL Tones, and in this video we're gonna explore the new features of the April update of AmpHub. So in this release, available now for download on stltones.com, we find three new pedals. We can reach the pedal selector view and we can see them. We can find the JR Drive based on the Vember JR Overdrive. Then we find the Princess Drive that is based on the well-known analog man King of Tone, and then we can find the Golden Drive that is based on the Friedman Golden Pearl Overdrive. So these are very interesting additions with a vintage boutique vibe, which I think will appeal many of you, given that these pedals are traditionally used across various genres from blues to rock to pop and many more, but as always, specialists in our digital scenario never forget to experiment, so there are no rules here, just try. So before we begin, two small notes. So some pedals have internal mini switches and trimmers, like for example we can see on the JR Drive up here. So these switches and trimmers are for fine-tuning the sound, so AmpHub features these additional controls as well to fully replicate the experience of having the real device at your disposal. One more note about the Princess Drive is that the King of Tone in particular, as you probably know, is a double pedal, but each side is the same, except for how you set the internal dip switches and the treble trim, which you can find here in AmpHub, by the way. So if you want to recreate the stacking of the original pedal, so-called stacking the two sides in series in a serial routing, you just need to load another Princess Drive, and so you just recall the original King of Tone. Of course, you have to set the settings, the switches and the trim exactly as you will do on the physical pedal, but that's the way to actually recall a real King of Tone. So a King of Tone is made of two identical sides, except for how you set the internal dip switches and trim that you can find here in the AmpHub control. So that's the way to fully recreate it if you want to stack the two sides of the pedal. So let's start with the JR Drive. It's a pedal that derives its overdrive sound from the black phase circuits of the 60s, instantly warming up the sound and providing the kind of color we appreciate in those amps. So it's important to note that using this pedal gives us a sound with more sustain, rounder, but without compromising on dynamics. So from these characteristics, you'll understand that it's a perfect pedal to be used as a clean boost, which is how I'm using it in this first sample I let you hear in some seconds, where I've also lowered the saturation knob, this knob here at the top, which of course behaves exactly like the physical trim on the pedal. Let's hear it. So despite the specific instrument I was using, pretty generous and open in the upper eyes, notice how the sound remained present but warm and round. Particularly here, I played very softly on the strings, as you saw on the AmpHub meter, on the AmpHub input meter, but I made this on purpose just to demonstrate the extreme responsiveness of this model even dynamically. Not bad, right? Now let's move on the second sample made with the JR Drive. In this case, used as a low-gain overdrive, so we increase a little bit the gain, we adjust the volume accordingly, and also make some adjustment on the pedal's EQ just to give it a bit more thickness to the sound we are sending to the amp. Let's hear it. A truly beautiful pedal. I even own the original one and I can testify that it sounds exactly like the AmpHub model. Now let's move to the Princess Drive that, as we've seen, meticulously recreates the circuit of one of the most sought-after overdrive pedals in the recent years, which in its real version at the moment have a waiting list of around 6 years. So if you want to buy an original Analog Man King of Tone straight from Mike Pera, that is the builder, the person who made the King of Tone, you have to wait 6 years. I am on the waiting list too, and I hope my time will come very soon. So the King of Tone is replicated in AmpHub, also here with an amazing and insane level of realism. The King of Tone is famous for respecting the original sound of the instrument we plug into it. And in fact, one of the most common uses is using it as a clean boost. So in the sample I'm letting you hear, I'm using it in clean mode, as you can see here, boosting the original sound to achieve a very robust rhythm at the bottom, but spanky and bright, ready to be placed in a mix with great satisfaction. I remind you that the clean mode is also the least compressed of the three, so it's a perfect blend between being a traditional clean boost, but a bit of an overdrive pedal. Let's hear it. The versatility of having all these additional controls is maximum. Consider that normally to have such deep control over the real pedal, as we said, you have to unscrew the back of the pedal to adjust the switches or the trim. So think how much faster it is when working in a digital field like us in AmpHub to be able to set whatever control in the way that we want by a click of the mouse. So very simple. Now let's listen to the Princess Drive with a very roomy lead sound, in this case using the Princess Drive in the OD mode with the high gain mode activated. And notice that despite the playing not being high gain at all, the sound quality is precise, defined, always with the right mids and with the just right amount of compression, which will be greater in distortion mode. So remember to think to these controls also basing on how they affect the compression of the sound. You have a really wide palette of sound, so I'm inviting you to test them all and have a great time with this pedal. Let's hear the next sample. Now let's move on to the Golden Drive, a transparent pedal that, in addition to the classic controls, offers 3 different clipping modes. You can find them here by clicking on the voice switch on the graphic interface, and 3 high cut steps. So it's a pedal that is usually used for boosting all around, so I'm kind of thinking this pedal as really a boost machine. So let's hear it boosting a sound on the very edge of breakup, maintaining the original sound we have in our setup, but increasing saturation and punch. Let's hear it. Now let's hear it in a different version with a different clipping voice, and in a version that pushes a sound that's already slightly crunchy, creating a perfect sound for rock and all-around rock rhythms, but why not already suitable for lead sounds. So the beauty of the pedals like this is precisely their versatility, so I recommend trying it out on your setup, because I'm sure you'll like it. Additional update, as you can see, the tuner has been upgraded with a new interface, and it's also been expanded to allow for higher resolution tuning. As you can see, it's now even better than before. Another new feature that many of you will appreciate is the ability to enable the mini tuner, which means a constantly visible small tuner. We can close the traditional window, and you can activate it by right-clicking on the tuner button and selecting Toggle Mini Tuner. As you can see, now at the bottom of the interface there's the note indicator with the mini tuner always visible, eliminating the need to access the traditional dedicated window. As you can see, and it's also, let me move the mouse, it's also very fast. So a great feature in my opinion that I think will make many of you happy. To return to the classic mode, simply right-click again on the tuner icon and toggle Mini Tuner again. That's all for this video. I remind you that the update is now available for download on stltones.com, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a comment and activate the pretty well famous notification bell to stay updated on any future news from STL Tones. I am Giacomo Pasquali, and I'll see you in the next video.